able to address that this one, no, to in a very in a very productive kay nga paagi, no. Okay. I believe Manggod class discussion will be meaningless, no, if paspas ra kaayo and then dili makuha sa mind. Okay? So dira pinaagi sa divisions of two hemispheres, those are the tasks that we need to discuss, no, that I needed to share to you. But sa karon lang sa no, I have to, because I think it is very impossible to tackle between the Western and the Oriental philosophy for a single meeting lang, no, for 2 hours. It's not enough. Okay, so with that, we also have this periods also. So when we talk about periods, nighttime, no, nighttime framing. So if we have the ancient period, no, during the ancient period, mo na sila Socrates, mo na sila mga proponents, as well as Plato and Aristotle in the western side. Dili po sa oriental, mo po to sila Lao Tzu, sila Confucius. So that was before Christ. Okay? It was later then, no, that Jesus Christ then pagka na ni arrives si Jesus Christ. So until it reaches to this what we call medieval period. So sa medieval period, naanapod, no? Naanapod na bago until the contemporary period. So kanang contemporary period, diha na naabot na ang mga modern na mga philosopher like Rene Descartes. Hello, yes. Mr. De Los Rios, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
What is that? Yes, good evening. Okay. Sige, no? So, mo na siya. Two divisions of philosophy, the Western and the Oriental, or the Western or the Eastern. And there are three significant periods, no? So, we have the ancient period, the medieval period, and the contemporary period. So, okay. Let's move on to philosophy. Since we talk about the self, no, from various philosophical perspectives, sa managlahi nga hubad, may lahi mga lahi na mga pagpanabot about sa self, no. I believe this is something that is you to understand also, especially about sa inyong self. No, this is very helpful so that somehow we can reflect from the idea of these great thinkers. Sige. Let me proceed with my second slide. So,
Hi, sir. Good
philosophy
evening.
is, yes, good evening. Study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence, especially in academic discipline. So, yes, no, it's because philosophy class, it studies about, it actually holds a very wide scope when it comes to study. Dili lang study sila, no, about ang study sa philosophy is appeal ang fundamental nature of knowledge, appeal ang reality, no, everything that can be experienced through our senses, and also the existence, no, existence, especially katong mga butang nga mga makita, mga gagmay, or katong mga butang nga sobra na kay kagagmay o kanang mga butang nga dili makita. And even academic discipline which actually suggest theories, and unsa pa man, aside from theories, it requires everyone to explore through our experience. So a particular theory that someone has taught ni siya class, no, about taught how to live or how to deal with a particular situation, and that is a definition of philosophy. Now let's proceed with another definition of philosophy. So, Arena, academic discipline concerned with investigating the nature of significance of ordinary and scientific beliefs. So, an ordinary beliefs, like for example, nganong naay buwan, no? Nganong mo kahit og tumaw ang buwan, nganong mo kahit og kawala ang buwan. But later then, no, coming from the idea of the people which ordinarily believe that that is just a natural phenomenon, no, it was later then that there is an investigation being conducted by the people, no, nga mga astronomers that studies about that one, no, and yet they actually provided nga mga scientific breakthroughs that changes the belief of the people. So sa ato pa di ay to make the long story short, no, since we talk about philosophy, mingon ito philosophy class, a philosophy is everything, no, philosophy is everything. Why? I don't know if you know about this, no, but if you know about this one, I would say congratulations, no. Formerly, when I was in college, no, before I graduated with my course, pag college na ko class, nahitabo sa una class, I used to believe that philosophy is a separate from everything, no, separate from engineering, separate from psychology, separate from any other course or any other subjects. But later then, no, na ako ang na take up ang philosophy class, na may subject na philosophy, no, pag take up nako sa philosophy class, upon reading its kaning ihang meaning kasi and definition, I already have an idea, no, nga broad kay siya gusto. Tapos pagka kuha na namo, no, pag ugkat na namo about philosophy class, philosophy is everything day class. Can you imagine mathematics is product of philosophy. Psychology is product of philosophy. Food preparation and so the rest are product of philosophy. Automotive, product of philosophy. That's what I am telling you. That's why I am telling everybody, philosophy is everything. Why? Philosophy holds all the branches of knowledge. What are the philosophy are concerned about? It concerns about the life. It concerns about everything that can be seen, no? Everything that can be seen and cannot be seen. No, metaphysics, one of the branches of philosophy. Metaphysics actually it studies about the from the word meta and physica, no, that is actually being coined together. Gi-coined na sila, gisagol, no, from the Greek word meta and physica, which means meta, which means beyond, and physica, which means physical. So it does not just centralizing about the human person itself, but it studies a wide scope. Everything that surrounds us, the stones, the dust, kanang kuano, kanang mga alignment sa ato ang solar system. That's part of philosophy also. Let's proceed with the second branch of philosophy. We have epistemology or episteme and logos. Episteme means knowledge and logos means study. So those two words that are being coined together, ningon tag episteme, branch of knowledge, it also has its own fields of study, no? Since it talks about knowledge.
Good evening, sir. Sorry late ko,
Yeah,
sir, kaya nawalang wifi sa mga, nagpa-signal ba ko?
it's okay. Sige. Just proceed. Anyway, bago pa kong sugod. So you're not that late. Okay. Sige, Mr. Cuevas, just settle down. Okay. Let me continue class, no? So a branch of knowledge, no, that is actually concerned with the epistemology, no. So daghan mga kuano, mga breakthroughs out of, like for example, there's that specific belief, no, nga kinahanglan justify. So therefore, it needs to take a seat with kaning science, no, with the application of scientific method in order to investigate a particular thing. Until such time, it will be proven coming from their studies and the presentations of the data. So yun na. Okay. Next, we have logic. Logic is the science of correct thinking or the sound reasoning. So because of logic, we can be able to determine, no, what are the sound and unsound reasoning. So ang tao, like for example, when you are going to ask the person, no, nga just like for example, pangutan almost inyong mama, no, nganong wala pa man ka maglungag day nga alas city naman ron. Ang imong tubag, manam kog kaon ma. Ningon pod imong mama, anam day kumanak kag kaon. kami di ay wa pa man mi kaon. Oh, so with that na koreksyonan kasi imong mama because yes, you're right. You need not to cook because you're already full or you're already done eating with the dinner, but do not forget that you also have responsibility, which is the other people that who wanted to feed on for themselves also. So muna nga kinahanglan no, oh, mao na siya branch sa logic no, a sound reasoning. uh and like the lawyers, they're very good in logic, no? Okay, and as well as the investigator also. Next we have ethics, the science of the highest standard of morality. uh, it actually studies on how human being ought to behave. Mingon tag ought to behave. So meaning to say it has something to do with the morality, understanding about the wrongness of an act. Later then, all of the professionals and scholars, no, actually propose their idea to include aesthetic as part of the branch of philosophy. So aesthetic, which is the science of beauty, no, and the art, uh, mo na siya na-appeal. Now, ang pangutan the self. Every branch of sciences, class, all those 5 branches of philosophy are actually contributed this what we call understanding the self. Yes, Miss Raul.
Dili
Mr.
kita
Raul,
sa kuan
yes,
sir,
question.
training nimo sir ba
You're
dili
raising your
mapo
hand.
ang share screening sir ba?
Wala pa. Time pa, time pa. Time pa. Ayaw sa, no? Wala pa ko ni move sa akong screen. I'm just giving you the background, what philosophy is all about.
Abi kog libog na
Dili
nimo sir.
na makita akong screen.
Abi kog nahang ba? Sorry sir.
Asa man imong ipasabot, sir, nga dili makita ang screen. Wala ko ni move. Wala pa, no? Wala pa. Wala. Sige lang, okay lang. Thank you, no, for that concern, no. Nag-uol lang ako sa anong wala ko ma-move. Wala pa na ako ma-move, sir. Ang ako is just a stock knowledge coming from me. Mao sa akong gi-share, no, about philosophy. Okay? So at least namoy idea ba? Unsa day mga branches sa philosophy kay ang backbone of understanding the self. One of the backbone of the understanding the self is philosophy. We are studying philosophy, no? We are going to discuss about different approaches of philosopher from Western and Eastern. So mo na siya. Okay. So tanan no nga mga branches naka-contribute sa philosophy on how to understand the self, no? Mo na nga right now, let me proceed with the next slide, no? Anam tag kamang. Okay? So, we have much of philosophy concerns with the fundamental nature of self. Di rin ta, no? And definitely yes. No? Definitely yes. Much of the philosopher. So, according to this account, no, the Greeks were the ones who seriously questioned myths and moved away from them to understand reality and respond to perennial questions of curiosity, including the question of the self. So, perennial class, coming from its origin, no? So ningon siya sa questions of the self. Una diha, no, ang pangutana sa self, who am I, no? Who am I? Kinsa man gid ay ko? So dili ningon the following are discussions of the different perspectives and understandings of the self according to its prime movers, no, from philosophers of the ancient times to the contemporary period. And this is what I am mentioning a while ago, no, about the 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 divisions of time aning philosophy. So we have the PreSocratics, no. So before the si Socrates actually founded introduced his approaches about the concept of the self, na po di ay mga lain, no, nga mga philosophers before him, no, nga niabot, no, sa wa pa si Socrates. We have Thales, Pythagoras, Parmenides, Heraclitus, and Empedocles, no, were concerned with answering questions such as, so ningon siya, no, what is the world really made up of? So unsa day ang kaning atong kalibutan, kaning atong gipuy-an nga habitat right now, no? unsa day decompose ani niya, no? Of course, we believe that the earth are actually or generally being categorized by the three compositions of the following matters. We have the solid, the liquid, and the gas. But ug ato na siya tagsa-tagsaon, there are stones, there are rocks, pebbles, sands, usa pa na diha, no? Daghan. We have water, no? We have salty water. We also have water that is coming from from the mountain nga dili salty. We also have unsa pa na air, no? Ang air atong nasabtan sa air sa unang panahon siguro they do not know that there are different classifications of the air. It was later then that the scientists actually made a discovery and actually named them according to their respective nga mga atomic numbers and so the rest and so on and so forth, no? So why is the world the way it is? So nganong ang kalibutan like nangutanam sa nganong inani man ang kalibutan, no? Ang atong kalibutan ay daghang tubig, daghang king tubig. Nya gamay-gamay ra ang yuta, no? Daghang kay sila mga kahibulong, no? Gani siguro sa ilahang panahon siguro sa una, no? Nahibulong siguro sila nung anong nakakayhunas, no? Mukalit magkagamay ang tubig sa dagat nya, mukalit ra pud og ka lawom, no? Mingon sad sila nga nganong nakakay bagyo sa kay even sa una ni exist naman ang mga bagyo. Sunod, what explains the changes that happened around us? Like for example, mingon ta nganong malaya man ning sagbot, no? Nganong kuan anong malaya man iyang feelings nako. Bitaw, no? I'm just okay. So, mo na, no? Those are just an example. So, mo na ang nahitabo, no? Even the people during the pre-Socratic period, no? Sila, no? Nanapot sila yung mga questions about focusing on the external factor, no? Not the internal factor, which is the self. That is the topic that we have to discuss right now, no? Sige, let me proceed with the next slide. Okay. The PreSocratics. So the art, no, the origin or source or the soul, no, the primal matter. So the understanding of the soul's movement is the ultimate arc of all other movement. No? So like for example, it actually justifies the belief that without the soul, no, nothing can actually functionalize. No, not even the body. The body of the person cannot actually function its daily purpose, no, kung walay kalag. Now, we have three. Art has no origin outside itself and cannot be destroyed. Yes, no? It does not have an origin outside itself. Diba? Wala may sinugdanan sa kalag. So wala siguro, no? Wa kita kabalo, no? All we know is tumaw lang na siya, no? That's shall I mingon ta og active energy that allows a human person to function. That is according to the belief of other philosopher also. Okay? And yes, definitely that can never be destroyed. Kasi may nakapatay og kalag diri na kuan sir, Ghostbuster sir. Na komedya ra nakasalidam ng Ghostbuster. For a while class. Yes. For a while kadyo for a moment kadyo. I-charge na kung kuan itaw na kong charger for a while. Okay, Mr. Markan, yes, you're raising your hand. You have a question?
Sir, katong kalag nga kuan sir ba nga asa tugikan. Murag na ako idea to gamay sir.
Okay, no. By the way, no, I can still remember you, Mr. James Markan. Onya, sir, what actually happens next?
base sa ako ang nabasahan sir sa Bible sir sa Genesis sir ang kalag gikan jud siya sa kuan pagtayhop di ba giumol man to ang lapok
Ah, ah,
from
yes.
from Genesis niya pag umol sa lapok kitayhop ang buslot sa ilong sa atong lapok ug didto ang lapok nagka na murag
Ginawa.
nakaginawa so
Mm.
murag ang pagginhawa sa tao ang kalag sa tao murag ang source niya ang katong pagbulhot sa pagtayhop sa ilong
Sa ilong, no?
nasa
Sa God the Father. Sa Creator, no? God the Father. Ah. I have read that one also, no, James. Thank you so much, James, no, for sharing that wisdom, no, of yours nga imong nabasa also. Yes, that's undeniably that's true, no. Tinuod yun na. But ang ako ang gikuan diri, James, it's hard, no, to actually apply science kay kaning yung panahon na during sa pre-Socratics, James. I hope, no, everybody will not be misled, no. I am not saying that the soul actually what you kabalo, because if we are going to read Bible, there's the answer about that one. No, tinuod ako kay tinuod na, but during sa ancient period man good, James, wala pa na siya na-explain, no. Nya ang ilagad as based on sa akong gi-discuss, no, a while ago nga ang philosophy is part of that, no, part of that is kaning application sa science, no. So no one actually, not even the scientists, can actually explain what is the origin of the soul. So meaning there must be someone who actually created this one, and the person or the one who created this one is not just an ordinary person, but mingon tanong, he is the most powerful and the sovereign one, no, mo naka mugna ani, that remains to be unknown to everybody. Okay, so kaning approaches sa philosophy, wala pa ni siya wala pa ni exist si Jesus Christ ani nilang Socrates, wala pa, no. It was later then during the medieval period that Jesus mabda nang if you are going to examine about the book, when you are going to read na Anno Domini or AD, di ba, na nasa BC. So those timelines are very significant, no, that can actually justifies the chronological order of the time where the philosophy actually exists before the existence of Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's not kanang, no, kanang dili lang ingon nga ni ulpot ko, no, nga akong giansiran, no, akong giansiran niya. Thank you so much, James, no. I believe also the other people who are here, yeah, this evening about the discussion, dili matatanan siguro tanan din, no, Roman Catholic, no, nam siguro uban pud nga they know about ana, no. Nya na gina, no, I accept. Yeah, thank you so much, no, for sharing that wisdom of yours. Sige. Okay, James?
sige sir
Sige, no?
okay sir
Sige. No, thank you sa kayo. So, tinuod ya, no, ang gingon ni James. Now, kanilang dire, no, I just don't want to be biased because here, kuan mo god, ako, wala na ako siya papaundi, no, about anang belief because ako arang gibasa una, no. But later then, we are going to discuss also about sa mga saints, and that's the time that I am going to ako na siyang i-insert, no. Sige, no, thank you kayo, James. Sige,
sir
James. Okay. So the ark has no origin outside and cannot be destroyed. Yes, definitely. No. Next, we have to explains the multiplicity of things in the world. So meaning to say, dili lang kita, no? Like after this, no, after we read about this one, even the idea of Aristotle, ningon si Aristotle class that every living things has soul. So mo na diri nga explains the multiplicity of things in the world. Daghan kayo og mga butang sa kalibutan, no? Aside from the living things, there are also the presence of the non-living things. Okay? Nasabtan ra class, wala ra mo naglibog or ang uban giduka.
Sabot ra,
Do you
sir.
have
Ganun.
Wala ra, sir.
Sir,
Okay ra, sir.
sige. Next, okay, no? So we are going to discuss the first person during the ancient period, who is Socrates, and becomes remarkable and very famous in the Greece during his time. So what is concerned with the Socrates? Socrates is actually concerned with the problem of the self. Dili na to sabto na nga si Socrates na ay problema sa kaugalingon, kundili si Socrates actually focuses, no, he actually becomes curious, and he have that thirst and hunger, no, about the answers on how to discover himself, how to discover oneself. Dili lang siya kaugalingon, but started from his own self introspection. And I'm sure everybody knows about self introspection. You can never discover yourself without examining yourself, no, without questioning yourself. Mm. Next, we have the truth. According to Socrates, the true task of the philosopher is to know oneself, and this is definitely true, no. Mabito na, no, nga daghan kayo nila, no, they have different approaches because according to him, no, before ta mo hatag, before ta mo share sa people with our approaches, with our understanding about the self, let us make sure first, no, nga kita sa tong kaugalingon, no, kita sa tong kaugalingon atuan na nang naugkat kung unsa ta, and so that by the time those people will actually uh will in return, no, throw questions to us, especially to the to the idea nga ato ang gihatag nila, at least we can answer them. So next, according to Socrates, no, the unexamined life is not worth living, no. Do you believe in this, class? Sige, be, mangutana ko no ko, be. What is actually what does Socrates tries to actually mean about this very remarkable kayong sayings ngayong gihatag? Sige, Mr. Coronado. Hi, Mr. Coronado. Good evening.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yes.
So,
What is your
kanang the
understanding?
unexamined life is not worth living, sir. Kanang kuan gali, sir, kung wala dili mo ma-discover ang imong mga dili mo ma-discover imong limitations sa imong kinabuhi ba, dili mo ma-discover imong mga strength at weaknesses kay murag wala gibili imong pagkapuyo ani imong kalibutan, kanang kalibutan.
Okay, no, very well said, no. Thank you so much, Mr.
Di
Coronado.
ba, sir?
Very good, no. Very well said. Okay, no. So meaning, we have to discover our strengths and weaknesses, no. Other than strengths and weaknesses, of course, let us not forget that the terminal for all of the things that we do in this world always goes to the to the kining what we call happiness. Di ba? Tinuod or dili? Let me share you a story, no? This is a famous singer. I don't know if you know this person, John Lennon. Uh, During kana nga ang iyang maestro nangutana, no? What do you want to become when you grow old? Ningon tong iyang classmate, I want to become a successful engineer. Pakpak din ang mga classmate. Ingon sa tong usap, ingon pangutana na ba, okay, Mr. Court, what do you want to become when you grow old? I want to become a lawyer. Pakpak po ng uban, no? Nga, during the time, no, nga si John Lennon nagipangutana, okay, same question, Mr. Lennon, what do you want to become when you grow old? I want to become happy. And so, everybody from the class are laughing at him. You're crazy. You don't know how to answer the question. It's very simple. Niya na si John Lennon, no, you don't understand me. You don't understand what I'm trying to kuan ko, no. Ayun sa yung gustong ipasabot. And yes, definitely ang yang maestro wala ka sabot sa istorya ni John Lennon. So that is coming from John Lennon, no. So kung ato siyang kuaan, no, kuaan na to siya og panig-ingnan class. tinuod man. Tinuod man nga hinay kaayo, no? Hinay. Naon sana nalipat na ko sa kung gibasa diri nga signal. Tinuod man nga kini nga kuan kayo kana ba nga ang tanan natong buhaton class will always end up to the will always aims no to achieve happiness. Di ba? Like for example, mingon ta class og mingon ta ninyo class, what if class kung mingon ko ninyo class lutuan ta mo sa inyong paborito nga panihapon karon. So syempre ma-happy gid mo no? So nganong ning eskwela man mo class? Is that only for to learn? Kundi ni-eskwela mo because you have a dream, di ba? You want to finish your education. After you finish your education, of course, you will become happy. So right after you finish with your education, you can actually find a good job, a well-compensated salary. So that can also makes you happy. So right after having a stable income and so on and so forth, of course, you will plan to get married. Now, you mo na nga that's the time nga magkuan sad mo no nag unsay tawag ana malipay na sad mo no kay ngano stable naman yung family, at the same time you can help your family. Everything that you do, no, everything that you do not forget it is always it always no directed to this what we call happiness. And that's what Socrates wanted to share with people. Mona, that is the reason why by such knowing your strengths and weaknesses, that is something that could help you to attain happiness or to become happy in life. Now, if you're those type of person who loves to sleep, who loves to waste your time, no, sa unsa pa na imong mga kuan diha, then meaning to say, of course, you're living your life in a very unworthy way. That is according to Socrates. Okay? So, because of that, no, si Socrates was charged with this what we call corrupting the minds of the youth. Now, underwent a trial, no? He underwent a trial, of course, in order not to, unsa ni tawag ani, dili sila makapanlaktod sa justice system. So, ilang gi-underwent og trial. And even, kana bang gi-charge si Socrates no nga ipa-exile siya. But unfortunately, Socrates did not agree with those kanong decision, no? He don't want to be exiled. Why? According to Socrates, I'd rather die rather than you're treating me like a bird and a chicken who always escape during stormy days. And definitely that is very idiomatic kayo, lawom kayo. Kaya ganahan ni Socrates ay there's nothing wrong with what I am doing. I'm just helping the people. I'm just awakening the mind of the people to understand that everyone has its worth, everyone has its purpose, and everyone has its goal. Now, everyone has we're bound with freedom, no? So meaning to say, since we're bound with freedom, we have those freedom to explore, to find answers sa atong mga pangutana sa kinabuhi. But unfortunately, during their time, no, only limited people ang may assumption sa ako lang gi-observe, no. So usap pud siya no nga nahimong reason nga si Socrates is actually gi-charge siya kay what the kings and the people who actually happens to be a politician during his time class is naguna-una po na sila sa ilang concern no nga walay wilga nga mahitabo dili magkagubot ang mga tao. Nya tuod man di nahitabo man gyud nga nagkagubutay man no kay tungod na ana no. So mo na ni prefer si Socrates nga mamatay siya by means of drinking a hemlock, a poison. I don't know, but one thing is certain and for sure. Socrates is actually drinking a hemlock. I think that's a poison that made him die. Of course, succeeded made people think about who they are. Yes. eventually, no, even though namatay si Socrates, but ang iyang contribution about the view and that encouragement na kanang kataga diha, no, the unexamined life is not worth living, that is something that is very remarkable to the people. Remarkable dili lang sa ilang lugar, but even right now, no, because we significantly discuss this one to aim or somehow to hope that maybe, no, there will one of these students that I have right now, no, you're 31 all in all, so maybe napoy makahimata ninyo, no, makaana mo nindot pud ang view ni Socrates. Okay, may I shall I move with the next slide?
Okay, sir.
If you want to drink coffee or something that can make you comfortable with my discussions, because kanino, I know it's never been an easy thing, no, to lessen up for how many hours. Okay, so the worst thing that can happen to anyone is to live but die inside. Tinuod, no? Oh, Kanibi, what is your understanding about this? Sige, class. The worst thing that can happen to anyone is to live but die inside. To live but die inside ko no. That is the worst thing that ever happens to anyone. Sir Eric Mar Papalid. Yes, Mr. Papalid, good evening.
Kuan sir kanang example kana kay kunya ray gan sir ko. Example sir kana kay kanang ang usa ka tawo kanay problema niya. Nya na siya kanang murag amigo pod ba nga utana nga. Okay ra ka? Nya maana tong usa nga. Okay ra ko nya. Pero deep inside niya kuan kanang guba kayang kuan yang feelings niya.
Okay. Okay.
Like kuan siya nag kanang
Wala siya nag-disguise.
Okay. Ay sa kajet Mark ha. Sige Mark up Mr. Papalid. So mo to, no? About okay, thank you, no, Mr. Papalid, for your idea. Okay, actually it's correct also, but in some ways, no, that is you're actually providing examples that is out of emotion. Now, let's proceed with kanino atong i-integrate sa idea ni Socrates about the unexamined life is not worth living for a man. So, when the person is actually becomes too ambitious, no, to actually, or too busy about, more on panguan lang, no, kana ba nga sige higda, no, o wala sila ilang gibuhat silang kaugalingon, no. So it is somewhat like you are a living dead. Mo ni siya tawas na live but die inside. You're like a living dead, no? You know nothing. Your life is not very productive. Ang imong pagpuyo sa atong kalibutan dili productive. You did not do something to improve yourself or to know yourself, then you're a living dead, no? Because according to the idea of Socrates, everyone should always be thirsty. Everyone should always have that hunger of knowledge, no? At tuwa na punon kay, because according to Socrates, you know what? When you can actually find answers, no, out of your questions, then do not stop, because the answers that you have found, no, can be a question for itself, no? Like for example, pareha karon na pandemic, no? Na pandemic. Ang mga tao naninguha nga makakita og vaccine, no? Hoping that they can actually resolve this problem kaning pandemic. Now, after that they can that the people or the other countries have proposed vaccines that are very effective to cure from this pandemic or to control from this pandemic, even though nanay vaccines, but still they are studying. Why? Though nanay vaccine na mo na siya answer sa ato ang nga kuan karon atong pandemic, but wala siya masulbad. Ngano man na may pangutana nga safe ba yan, no? Is that applicable to everybody? At all ages. So of course dili man. So mo na nakadala og kana nga questions na sad, no? Another questions that are needed to be answered. So they have to investigate about that one. Okay? Okay, according to Socrates, every person is dualistic. What is meant by dualistic? So let's not forget that this dualistic that is actually being emphasized is all about the body and the soul. No? Both pasabot day class, ang usa ka tawo kuno can never be a man or can never be a human being without body and soul. You can never call the person a person without soul. Kung body ra, kung kuan pod, kung soul ra pod walay body, dili pod na siya tao. Meaning to say, the composite of the human person is the body and soul. So, gitawag din, no? Individual, as you can see, na ibutang imperfect or plus perfect. So, imperfect, which signifies the body, and the perfect, which actually signifies the soul. Now, ang pangutana, class, excuse me, class, mangutana ko ninyo, class, na may madungog saba. Hello?
Nagit, sir.
Sir, bata, sir.
Kasi madunggan yung class.
Bata, sir.
Sir, bata, sir.
Okay.
Kay bata, sir.
Sir, bata.
Okay, for a while. So, kaya akong gi-check class og mukuan ba akong noise kuan? No, namin madunggan. Sorry. Sorry class sa inconvenience for a while.
Okay ra, sir. Okay ra, sir. Happy Fiesta, Yuda.
Ang imbitar mo ugma.
Adto tay la Eric tanan. Adto tay la kay Eric tanan.
Okay. Oh, pista de. Happy Fiesta. Happy Fiesta, Argao. No? Okay. So, shall I continue? So, muna class, no, ang human person can never be called as a person. If it only represents the body or a soul. So dapat the two has to go is dili ni siya ingon nga this is actually copied from or adapted coming from belief, no? Because Socrates came first before Christianity. Okay? Kuha ni class. So kanina Christianity class derived lang gyapon ni siya aning nga belief, no, about the body and the soul. So the idea of Socrates or kanino comes first before sa Christian belief na there is actually, and it was actually proven coming from the Christians, that there is the presence of the soul sa matag usa ka nato. Okay? Nakuha ninyo, class?
Copy, sir.
Okay. Sige. Let's proceed with Plato. Sir, gutom na ba mi, sir? Ito na yung hinahanap nyo, no? Plato.
Sir.
Okay. Sige.
Well, lechon da.
Sige. Now, continue sa kokas, no? Sige. Unya na yung lechon. I know, pista giron, no, sa Argao niya. It's too early, no? It's 6:56. Sige. Let me continue. Next, we have Plato, who happens to be the best student of Socrates. Yeah, even though Plato becomes the student of Socrates, still si Plato himself, no, he also has an idea. He also have his approaches, no, that is quite different from his teacher. What Plato
Hello. Sir, naputol lagi, sir.
Naputol eh. Abi na kukuan ka nang nahang lang akong cellphone. Naputol dyan eh.
Mic test.
No, na-walk out na si sir lagi.
Gihapon sa ta.
Nakating si sir.
Eric,
Inawag
kami
ka.
sa
Gihapon tay,
ugma.
gutuma.
Uyo ko.
Ugma, magdala ko plato.
Ato na Eric, ugma. Manista ta.
Okay.
Sabay Jed.
Class, I'm back, no? Okay. So I want everybody to please settle down, no? So that I can continue with my discussion. Kadali. Nawagting og kalit ang ako ang connection, no? Nangayo ko sa So where did we stop with Plato, ba? So si Plato class believe that the
Yes, sir.
soul
Plato,
being
sir.
the one that actually governs the body or the entity of the body, the material entity of the body. Ningon siya no that the soul has three components. It's only the soul know that the soul. Now what are these? We have the rational soul, the spirited soul, and appetitive soul. I believe no to my former students, no, I believe I'm done discussing this one to you before sa inyong ethics subject. So diri kaning rational soul, no, we have the reason and intellect to govern affairs. Let's not forget when we speak about rational soul class, try to imagine a person, no? Try to imagine a person. Mingon soul is pointing to the direct class, to the mind, no? Because when we say rational, tatanawan niya, no, reason and intellect. So it was the brain that actually process everything, especially kaning gitawag na tong reason, no? To reason out that would actually take you to the process of the brain, and that's the product of the intellect that we have. Okay, it actually governs the affairs that is located at the top. Diri na sa tong ulo, no? We are rational. Ang rational being sa ka person is coming from the mind. Next, we have spirited soul that points to the heart. There is, as you can see, nabutang emotions should be kept at bay. So muna nga, siya lang no nga, kana nga, ang ating emotions, no, should be, naara siya sa tunga-tunga, no? Dili po ta, it is pointing to the heart. This is something that suggests that the emotions of the person should be maintained to the, unsa man, dili sa tunga-tunga nga level, no? Dili siya pwede nga, kanang mo pasalabi, di po siya pwede mo us-us. Later on, I will discuss that one. Let me proceed with appetitive soul. So base desires, no? As you can see, there is an illustrative example. We have the food, drink, sleep, and sexual needs. Asa man siya nakatudlo, sir? So, try to imagine lang, a person, no, it is pointing to the stomach down, no? Since it actually includes sexual needs. So diri nga erogenous area diri sa ubos class, diri dapit sa atong stomach sa may pusod going to the reproductive organs of the human person, mao na siya appetitive soul diha. Now, way back, no? Pangutana diri. When the human person's soul becomes just and virtuous. So since it is requiring the human person to actually maintain, no, in a very just manner, mingon tag just plus, of course nasa sa tunga-tunga, no, kaya ano man mingon tag rational soul. Sige, what do you think will happen to this person nga highly intellectual kaayo? Sige, by coming from you class, no, I will let you answer. What do you think will happen, no? Mingon jud na those people, no, like for example giingon si Plato, since it was the spirit that governs the body, dili maayo ang sobraan ka bright, no? You know why? Ang sobraan ka bright, it tends to become very self-centered, very egoistic. Kana bang pirmi na siya sakto, no? Ang uban sayop, pirmi na lang siya may masunod because he knows everything. Mo na, no? Mo na nakabati pod, no? Mingon puta og kanang dal. Bugo ba? Kana bang gamay og kuan, gamay ra hibalad. Mm. Dili pod maayo. Ano? Kay of course,
Sir, choppy kay ka, sir.
Copy good, sir.
Putol, sir. Putol. Putol.
Hello.
Oh, Mr. Togma.
Sound.
After na po mo.
Okay,
Jess,
class
asa ka ron, Jess?
dismissed.
Okay, I'm back. So, si Plato na ta. Tugma, pagdamang Plato kay mamista ta.
Yawa. Pahunga.
Class dismiss.
Ang way plato, mapas mo.
Gerald, cheese boy.
Arlon Itom.
Tumo, Gerald, tumo.
Marlon Tuya.
Paghiram, Rald. Pahilom, Rald.
May gabi sa tanan.
May I request everybody to settle down, no? I will resume with my discussion. So, mo na to, no? If the person is too much intelligent, no, it's not good also. Kay they tend to become egoistic. So muna mahimos ng self-centered. Now what happened no, if the person is dull? So of course, kung dull dili pod pwede, especially nowadays, no? Nga we have to accept the fact that we are in the era, or we are in the time wherein the people competing from each other by means of survival. So, in order for you to survive, survival of the fittest. So, you have to acquire knowledge also. At least you can get the requirement of the society for you to survive. Now, let's proceed with this what we call kaning spirited soul. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Okay. The spirited soul, no? Emotions should be kept at bay. Now, arita sa spirited soul sa class, unsa may characteristics sa usa ka soul? In the aspect of kaning gitawag nitong spirited soul. So ang characteristic niya is kaning gitawag nitong courage, no? Kaisog. Sometimes too much courage is not good also to a person. Why? Dali kang mamatay, no? Kung sobraan ra pud ka kaisog, or you tend to become so bold, no, that the people would actually mo palayo sila nimo, no, kay di sila ganahan kay kuan ra kay ka kana bang overconfident ra kay ka. Now what will happen, no, if dili ta sa courage, too much courage, ari pud ta sa cowardness. So if the person is very coward, so of course no one will trust you. Kitalawan man ka. So but pasabot ang tambal ana, at least no, you can actually maintain yourself nga ara ang kaning spirited soul na to must be at the middle, no? Nara ka sa middle, tunga-tunga, dili ka talaw, sobrang ka talawan, di po ka kasobraan ka isog. Okay? Next, we have appetite. Because this is also one way that enables man to survive. Wala kay appetite, wala na kay gana, muna no, wala kay gas kinabuhi. You have wala na kay kuano, wala kay desire to survive. Now, aritas gana, no? Ganas pagkaon. So, when a person actually matugkan og gana kaning pagganas pagkaon class, kung sobraan po ang imong kaon, of course that would lead to a person to become obese, right? Am I right? Kung gamay ra pud ka, no, kana bang a little intake of the food would also result the person to become daot. So madaot sa ka, or else much worse, magka-ulcer ka. So that's why katamtaman lang, no? Even sa kanang pag-inom, no? Oh, gani sa tong ilimno, no, na ni-suggest that drink moderately. It does not say that you have to drink, no, as many as you can. No. It has to be maintained in balance. So ingon ana siya ka importante. What about sex? Of course, kanibang pagka-grabe, no? Pagka-grabe na tog appetite sa sex, di pod maayo, no? It would lead into something, no, like masakit siguro ka sa bako, or else mo na, no, nga inyong partner mapulaan po ninyo or unsa ba, no? So you know about that already, katong mga naminyo na, pwera lang sa mga wapa naminyo. Okay? So ingon ana ka, importante ang idea ni Plato nga dapat we have to maintain in order to live our life in a very just and a virtuous way, because it is only through virtue that the human being can actually attain happiness. By living your life in virtue, so of course mas magmalipayon ka. If you cannot be able to live your life in a very virtuous way, and then that's the time that you can actually encounter a lot of struggles in life. Do you understand, class?
Yes, sir. Klaro, sir.
Rengela.
Yes, baby.
Igsoon kang si Boy.
Oo, ka naman.
Kaila kang kuan na ni sige nimo Milo? Leonilo Albacete.
Oo, ka-elementary na sa una.
Mara to may pista.
Ay, Jenilen.
Ay, sis, baye.
Balhin man.
Salamat sa pagtagot.
Pagdala nagkuan, balon daan. Nya, kaligo na lang pugdaan.
Mista ka na mo.
Jid, mista ko, Jid.
O, ale, kaligo lang daan. Tubig na dire.
Israel. Makasin daa dia.
Kaligo lang sa daan, Jenilen.
Di na ko mista di ay kay paligoan ng pugod di ay ni Mozilla.
Ngaliga tag doa.
Gani ay di ko kadungog.
Yatay. I'm still here, class. I'm still here. Okay. So, are you still there? Are you still alive?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you must be, because by next meeting, I will be giving you an exercises, no? So you have to stay alive. Okay? Okay.
Okay, sir.
Naglanog-lanog pa ka diha, no, sir? Okay. Let me escape from a while, no? Kadiyot sa class. Where did I stop? Time pa kadiyot. Kadali lang kayo, no? It's because I forgot, no? Kani siya good. This is the ending of this is where the idea of Plato ends up no sa kaning slide. What happens to a person whose three components of the soul are imbalanced? So of course, as I mentioned a while ago, you cannot live your life in a very productive way, and you cannot live your life happily, no, ever after, if if you do not know how to manage yourself, how to manage your soul. So meaning to say, the three must in parallel with each other, no, parang dili magkakuan ang tao, no, magka-problema. Sige. So I have to share to you another slide, no, for a little while. It's because wala man gud diri ang ako ang slide about ni Aristotle, which is also very important. So ako ang naghimo og slides class about the Aristotle. Wait for a moment. Okay, there it goes. So, window. Okay. Please let me know if you were able to view my presentation. Nawala lagi. Time pa kadali lang class.
Ganiya na nawala, sir.
Time pa, mangutan ako ninyo class. Putol-putol ako ang tingog class.
Putol-putol yun, sir.
Usahay, sir.
Putol, sir.
Putol-putol yun siya, sir.
Dako ninyo, no? Majority ninyo, putol-putol akong tingog.
Oo, sir.
As?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Klaro,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Night time. Tol yun, sir.
Signal siguro na, sir.
Time pa kadali. Actually, we're far from each other, no? I'm from Cebu City. Kadali lang class, no? Maybe there's a problem with my signal dyan class. Kaya ano,
Asa rin niya,
dali
sir.
lang, dali lang kayo, everybody, ha? Ibog na kung asa.
Nawala yun kasi.
Padayas.
Yun ay signal na, sir.
Balik na lang ko. Balik lang ko class. Walay tarong siguro. Okay, ha? Tansa, kadali lang. Ninyo class?
Putol-putol, yapon, sir.
Kana, wala na.
Copy, good, sir.
Copy, sir.
Ano?
Mukarat man, sir.
Sisit do.
Kadali lang ha, kadali lang. Okay, nag-English ko yung tawag pangita signal no sa pagpita ng Kristo. Diyot lang ha. Okay. Feedback yung dito ulit, kadjok lang dito, pasuyuan lang ko, delete naman ko, kadali. TV. Mana yang remote nya? Satu lagi. Yeah, I hope it's okay right now. Madunggan ako class, di na choppy.
Okay na, sir.
Okay na, sir.
Sige.
Loud and clear, sir.
Sige. I'm sorry for the inconvenience class, no?
Okay na, sir.
No problem,
So,
sir.
na-view ninyo ang akong presentation ninyo class about Aristotle.
Negative man, sir.
Negative.
Wala, sir.
Yan pa ha. Dali lang. Okay, presenting screen right now. Kita na?
Okay na,
Negative,
sir.
sir.
Okay,
Sir.
good if you do. So we have Aristotle, who happens to be the student of Plato. No? He was the best student of Plato. So the most brilliant student of Plato diverged from most of Plato's fundamental philosophies, especially on the concept of the self. So the true self is the soul, so the rational soul, which is separable from the body. Now, actually, no, Aristotle, who is the student of Plato, actually embraced all the ideas of Plato, but instead he
Shopping
made
Japan,
his
sir.
own twist. No, he made his own
Sir,
view.
putol-putol ka, sir. Shopee kayo, sir.
Copy, sir.
Okay. Siguro class no, nalibot na nako puro no. I don't know what to do. Pero karon madunggan ako na madunggan ako ni class. Balik.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tsaga na lang siguro tayo no kay ano kung medyo nalibot ni tanan no, naabot ako diri sa among silong. So unfortunately, nani gihapon no. Ibog na kung saan ni natututuan.
Okay ra na, sir.
Anyways,
Relate pod mi ana.
let me continue no. That is the reason why I record this discussion no, so that somehow choppy ko no. Pero sige lang no, kanaman ko i-record video so you can I can upload this one to the YouTube and you can watch this one also. So pinaagi niya na digin mo maka-missed up no sa akong discussion. Okay? Let me continue. So, taas para ba class no? How did Aristotle come up now with the idea that the human person is just an animal that thinks? So according to Aristotle, a human being is an animal that thinks. So sa ato pa, ang tao dayo ang animals, they are just the same. No? They have
Copy man, sir.
Hindi mo klaro, sir.
choppy class.
Shopee gid, sir.
Dong. Yo. Excuse me sa kuno yung bipag nga sa kuno na palihog dong. Wi-Fi. TV. So dismiss naman ko. Okay, So, okay na? Happy hapon last?
Di na kayo, sir.
Okay. So, according to Aristotle class, a human and animals are the same from each other. No? And so there are other beings. Now, all living beings have souls. So, according to Socrates, it's not only the human person that has a soul. Also, any other forms of living things has a soul. Just like, for example, may tag mga animals like dogs and the trees, they also have souls. Well, that is according to Aristotle. Now let's proceed. All living beings have souls. So since he actually uh, mentioned this one, no? For the trees, they have is what we call vegetative soul, no? And for the dog, they have this what we call sensitive soul. And next, we have this rational soul for the human being. Now, both of these living things have an ability to grow, reproduce, and feed itself. No? Mingon ta og soul, like vegetative soul coming from the trees has the ability to grow, di ba? It has the ability to reproduce also, no? And also feed itself. Na din ay kamot ang tree, sir? No, wala siya kamot, no? But the leaves that falls down to the ground, no? Mga dead na mga leaves, o mahimo man na siyang organic fertilizer, that is somehow very essential for itself to uh, to grow, okay, and to survive. Next, we have the sensitive soul, which is coming from the animals. The animals have the ability to grow. Yes, inevitably, no one can actually wala makapugong, no, sa pagtubo sa mga animals to reproduce. So of course, they have reproductive organ and they are capable of reproducing their own kind and to feed itself. So siya dili man tanan animal sir ma-feed nimo sir. That's according to Aristotle. So but kaning mga iro class na may mga iro no nga pet, no. Nahimos lang pet ang mga iro, but that doesn't mean that they cannot be able to feed themselves, no. Only if those mga animals nga gitrain, so they can feed themselves. Gitawag siya sensitive soul because they are capable of sensation. Excuse me, no? Mingon tag capable of sensation, of course, by the use of their senses, they can be able to understand and they can easily perceive mga imminent danger that might happen. Okay? Sabtan ni So, anyways, class, do not ay mo kaguol class, no, akong usbon sa makadaghan class, if it can allow me to continue with this discussion, I will continue with my discussion because this is a recorded discussion. So ay mo kaguol, this is a recorded discussion and I will send this one to you later on. Okay? So ani na lang, no, kay ano bisag asa ko mobalhin, no, basin siguro mobalhin kung tunga sa kalsada, di ning gihapon eh. So everything will not change. Atuan na lang na kuan ni, no, as at this time because I am still looking for a solution for this problem. Ano na lang, no? This is a recorded discussion. So I hope na lang gyapon, no, nga maminaw lang gyapon ta, no. Kung karat man sila, anyway, don't worry kay ako man ni siyang i-send sa inyo ha. Nakuha class?
Okay naman, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay naman, sir.
Oh, kini nga magud uban nga karat, no, nya basin pod ba tinuod.
Ganina,
So
sir,
anyway,
katong pa kanibalhin.
kay ani man siya, I am choppy, no. Ang situation magud ani class, there were times nga choppy, na ako choppy, ang uban choppy pod mo diha sa inyo, ano, okay na ko. That's why I am looking for the majority of you, no, to tell me nga okay na ba akong signal, no? So far niya okay na. Okay na to class.
Okay na sir, okay.
Okay na, sir.
Okay na, sir. Continue na to, sir.
So anyway, you need not to worry about this because this is a recorded discussion. So right after this, I am going to download this one and send this one to your GC. Para mapaminaw, okay? Nakuha class?
Sir, thank you, sir.
Copy,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Okay,
Sige.
sir.
This is a recorded discussion, so you need not to worry, no? If choppy, sige na lang, no? Ayaw mag-ul. This is a recorded discussion. You can revisit the discussion, no, right after and ang atong klase. I'm going to upload this one class. Okay. Kay honestly lang, with all honesty class, sige jud balin-balin ay. I don't know about the problem. Ano ni or siguro di lang jud compatible ang globe diri sa amoa. But I have to figure it out. Yeah, okay. With the help of my sister also kay kuan man kana man nga siya may nagkuan ni kung panalitan okay ra ba or mo change na gid me. Time to change with another network. Okay? So can I continue?
Yes,
Chopping
sir.
po.
Yes, sir.
Sige. No? Mura yung tawag kung kasing-kasing yung choppy asa man ka ko dapitan. No? Di ka ako pwede lang mutungtong ko sa to. Anyway, sige. No? So, way back sa discussion natin, according to the view of Aristotle, according to him, that the human being are the same as the animal who have, yung itawag na to og souls also, no? Just like the plants have vegetative soul, the animals have this what we call sensitive soul, and it's because the tawag sa sensitive soul because they are capable of sensation. Diba? Mas tagas og panimaho mga mananap na to, aside from panimaho, manilap sila, no? They can also easily detect when there is a calamity that is about to happen. So yun ana. Now, what makes the human being becomes kining gitawag na to siya unique, no, among all of those living souls like the plants and animals is ang human, no, adiri, no, ang kaning kuan kaning outside Cebu Technological University, yes, Mr. Mir, no. So ang human being has this what we call the gift of intellect and will. So mo na no nga, aside from the fact that the human being can grow, reproduce, and feed itself, no, it can also feel. Kanin siya, example pa sa and continue ang akong discussion. Okay, so rational soul, no? Inyo nakita ninyo class. So the rational soul, the human being is can also or can be able to grow, reproduce, and feed itself, and at the same time feel. So that feeling, no, that could somehow contribute to the human person to process that one into his brain, and then as a process that will result to that particular perception. So manang ang human being can be able to integrate that one to his intellect on what to respond and on what to do, especially planning, organizing, and so on and so forth. Nakuha na to, class? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, according to Aristotle, man is a rational animal. So, the human person is not a soul distinct from the body. So, meaning to say, dili lang ang kalag, no? Dili lang ang human person is dili lang tungod sa lawas. But also, ang kalag ug ang lawas has to work with together, no? In order to form as a human being. Dili man pwede no nga puro lang kalag, no? Ang usa ka tawo, ang self sa usa ka tawo can be determined pinaagi sa kalag because obviously dili man makita nato ng kalag, no? So there is that body who represents, no, the human person, and that something which is the immaterial being or the immaterial entity that lies within the body is mo na siyang maka-create of human person. Okay? So meaning to say there is still the presence of the body and at the same time the soul that is significantly work on together. So the human person is a composite of body and soul, and that the two are inseparable. So kaning duha mura ni inyong relationship, no, sa inyong uyab. This is inseparable. Okay? Because the moment that they are going to separate from each other, so of course we can no longer determine the person as a person, no? Like for example, may ngutag wala na kalag. What happened to those mga human person nga wala na kalag? Humbot namatay na sila, no? Lawas nila na as minteryo wala kalag. So wala, because of the absence of this kalag, which is the active force or the soul. nga nawala sa usa ka lawas, so the body is no longer functioning. Wala nag-function. Okay? Nakuha ninyo, class? Now, according to Aristotle, no, there is this what we call hylomorphism, or the soul form, no, or the soul or the form allows humans to perform activities of life such as thinking, willing, imagining, desiring, and perceiving. And that's basically, that's basically the functions of the brain, the functions of the soul in our body. Kung wala ang atong soul, wala, dili mo lihok atong lawas, no? Dili mo functionalize ang atong lawas. And then Aristotle interprets the true self of humans as the soul that animates the body. So it was the soul is an important as the soul, as it serves as a matter to the soul. So let's not forget that they are interdependent from each other. Without the body also, the soul cannot animates for something else except the presence of the body. So therefore, meaning to say, di ay ang kanang duha magkuyog gyud na sila, no? Mura na siya og beer og ice, magkuyog na silang duha. Okay? Nakuha ninyo, class?
Yes, sir.
Class, nawala akong presentation.
Yes, sir.
Uy, nga naman eh.
Yes, sir.
Nawala, sir. Nawala, sir.
Kadiyot lang, ha? Kadiyot, class. Kadali lang kayo, no? I'm sorry, class. I'm sorry. Ano, nawala mo siya, eh? Time pa, pagod. Kadali lang, class, ha? Okay. Pertinan ako pangugat dire. Pangugat ako tabi, nawala dito ang ako ang ano.
Dili, sir, pag storya na mo, sir.
Pag istorya na baguhay lang.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
nakauman
Bago
ba?
lang parod.
Okay, sige, no. Kadali lang kayo, class, ha? Makakanta masataan ni Ogwan, eh. Don't know what to do. Sama niya, time pa kadali. Kadali lang kay class, na. Okay. Sakit sa guys, sakit sa mata, no? I am not used to it to, tanaw computer nga dugay kayo, no? Especially laptop. Sakit akong mata, class. Kadali lang juga ayo ano man eh, asam ni eh. Dara. Okay. Sige. So akong tiwaso, no? Para dako tag-agi. So please let me know, no, kung nakita ba o wala. Wala pa, class?
Wala po, sir.
Wala pagyapon, sir.
Kana, sir. Kita na, sir.
Kita na. Ay,
Yes, sir.
salamat. In town, Lord.
Kita na, sir.
So, mo to di ta malimot, no, that the two has to work on together because they are interdependent from each other. They're composite of each other. Okay, although Aristotle contends that the soul is the form of the body, he did not argue for the primacy of the former over the latter. So what does this mean? So of course, he said, no, that the people like Plato and the people like Socrates are, they have some point also. They have their own points. They have their own view. I never say they were wrong. Yes, definitely there is that presence of body and soul. Na akong usbon, class, ay mo kalibog, class, no? Actually, this was not adapted coming from the Christian because these people, no, during the ancient period comes first before Christianity. Okay? So muna nga wala na siya gi-adapt coming from the Christian belief. But the Christian belief also becomes dependent of itself, no, nga ilang view is coming from the religion. Okay? Nakuha ninyo, class? So next, let me proceed again, no, sa kuha nga, okay. Balik ko sa akong slide class ha. Atong previous slide nga akong gi-share ninyo, no? Wait for a moment. Kadali lang class. Sige. Let's continue with we have St. Augustine. So spirit of man in medieval philosophy. So following view of Plato but adds Christianity. So this time he followed the view of Plato but with addition, no? His view also has an impact that is actually coming from the Christianity. So man is of bifurcated nature. So meaning to say, made up of two, no? The spirit and the soul. A part of man dwells in the world, no, which is imperfect and yearns to be with the divine. So meaning to say, though the human being is actually created as an imperfect, no, and the perfect one, which is the soul, no, later on, no, due to that imperfection that is caused coming from the body, which has a needs, which actually demands for pleasure, which actually demands for rest, and so the rest, and so the others, that would actually enables man to actually attain happiness. So muna nga ang tao that can somehow hinder, no, the individual to attain happiness because of its imperfections caused from the body or the entities, which is the body matter. So in order for us to actually attain a perfect life or to attain a very happy life, later then, no, kung mamatay na ta class according to St. Augustine, so of course that's the time that we can actually acquire this what we call perfections coming sa atua nga soul. Okay? So other part is capable of reaching immortality, and that is what St. Augustine referring to, which is the soul. Body dies on earth, soul lives eternally in spiritual bliss with God. And this is how St. Augustine proposed this view about the concept of self. Nga mamatay ang lawas dinhi sa kalibutan, no? But later then, no, coming from the bless of the Almighty Father of the Almighty God. So of course, that particular part of this self, which is the other entity, the immaterial entity, kaning gitawag na tog kalag, no? Mo na siya mo live eternally, walay katapusan. So mo lagi na, no, nanihalo nga, like for example, ang iyang idea is something that is in relation to religion. Do you believe in the concept of the soul coming to heaven after death? Nituwa mo nga ang kalag musaka sa langit kahuman nga ang tao mamatay. So of course, nagpipili na, no, sa matag usa. Yes? Hello? Okay. Are you still there, class? Wala lang ka nagkarat-karat class so far.
Wala na, sir.
Wala na sir.
Okay, kay palihog kog palong sa kuan kay mura magnaay nagpiriya, no? I don't know. Okay. Sige. Pwede ko mo continue, class?
Okay, sir.
Okay, no? So what makes us people different from animals? So sa ato pa, kang St. Augustine, it's not embracing from the idea of Aristotle because we're not animals, we're human, we're separate from them, no? So let's proceed with St. Thomas Aquinas, another saint, no? So man is equals to matter plus form. So I hope you will not be confused, no? The thing that is actually being kanibang gitawag og kuan ba, matter ba, matter plus form. So common stuff that makes up everything in the universe. So form is essence of a substance or thing, what makes it and what it is. So meaning to say, a matter which is emphasizing, or a matter that is actually referring to the soul, and the form that is referring to a body. I hope you can, dili mo misunderstood, no? Because you know what, sometimes the spirit is actually being used or called by the philosopher as matter for their own version, no? So mo na lang gibuhat, no, nya body as a form, but you know already form and body are the same, because when we say matter, of course something that is needed to be suman siya kinahanglan pa nato identify, no? Like for example, mingon ta kung matter na siya, is that something that can be seen through a naked eye or dili, or is that visible or non-visible? So mingon ta form, of course, obviously coming from the word form, that can be seen through naked eye, and it is made up of substance or a thing, no, as mentioned. So the body of the human being is similar to animals objects, but what makes it different is a human being has its essence. Okay, humingon tag essence class, of course unsa may Bisaya sa essence, kapuslana, no, or pulos or gamit, di ba? Sakto ba class or wrong? So pinaagi ni ana, no, makaingon ta nga ang animals, yes, excuse me class, tungod sa kuano ugang tutunlan. So ang animals has its own purpose, no, no one can actually argue about that one, and so the rest, and so the objects. But what makes the human being becomes kaning gitawag nato, no, very special, or the rational being, no, or the highest form among all of the creation, is that the human being has its ability to think, no. uh, ang uban man, no, they can think also, just like kaning mga animals, but we have this gift of intellect and will. So meaning to say, because of that gift of intellect and will, according to Saint Thomas Aquinas, that makes us human beings unique among all other creations. We know that we can grow, no, we will grow, we know about it. We know that we can reproduce, we know about it, we can feed ourselves. More than that, no, we can also find solutions for ourselves, and even find answers towards the other things that cannot be normally explained by someone else, and that makes the human person unique. Now let me proceed with the idea of St. Thomas Aquinas. So manana dito siya, no, dito na day kutob ang St. Thomas Aquinas. So muna, in relation to this religious approach, no, since St. Thomas Aquinas is siya, no, kanang coming from a Roman Catholic religion, what is actually being suggested in the presence of his belief, no, ningon siya nga being the steward of God. So of course, being the highest form among creation, everyone, no, everyone should understand that there is that presence of the Almighty Father who created everything, and that the human person itself has to take good care of himself, just like, no, just like sa uban, no, nga like for example miingon ta ang Dios, nag-ingon man ang Ginoo, no, nga ang lawas sa usa ka tawo, no, balaan, so sama og templo sa Dios. Now we have to take good care of ourselves, and at the same time we have also we also have to consider the presence of the other creations also as creations, no. We have to consider also their existence for us to live our life happily, to live our life in a very meaningful way. Nakuha ninyo, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
nakuha, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Ibalik ninyo, class, ay ninyo kuha, class. Bitaw, class. Thank you so much, no, if you do. Okay. Next we have René Descartes. In René Descartes in modern philosophy. So René Descartes is a father of modern philosophy. Yes, no? Magitaw siya father of modern philosophy. So human person, body plus mind, no, ningon dia, there is so much that we should doubt. The human person ko, no, a human person can never be identified as a being or an existence being without the presence of these two gyapon, no, dualism gyapon, body and mind. So instead of body and spirit, he used mind, no, to represent the composite of the human person, meaning the composition the human person is composed of body plus mind. So it's no longer the spirit. Why? Let us investigate. Do not forget, there is so much that we should doubt. Meaning to say, according to Rene Descartes, um, when something is not clear and vivid or lucid to someone, ayaw magtuo. Instead, it is very helpful for a human person to always doubt. Why? By just doubting, you can actually acquire knowledge. By just doubting, you are bit to bit finding answers about the meaning of your existence. Sa ato pa di ay, kung like for example, do not just easily trust or do not just easily stop kung naka makita nga usa ka conclusion, because just like what I mentioned a while ago relating to this is something very tricky also, because the idea of Rene Descartes is somewhat the same with the idea of Socrates, di ba? Kay nung doon pamukwas nga ningon si Socrates nga, of course ang tao I'm sorry, si Rene Descartes ningon siya sa iyang work, iyang kuan na Cogito ergo sum, that is very famous pero ari sa ta diri ningon si Socrates, you should not stop investigating, you should not stop finding answers, you should not stop becoming conscious of everything for you to be able to find answers sa imuhang life for who you are. Now, Rene Descartes also the same, mo po din niyang gisulti that is if something is so clear and lucid as not to be doubted, that's the only time one should believe. Sabot pasabot di ay magidudahon kini sa Rene Descartes, Sabot pasabot di ay ayog ditso lang og kanang kuano kanabang ma-happy na lang kayo, become comfortable and you become settled, when someone is actually offering you nga, you have to trust this because this is true. Meaning to say, everyone must investigate, like for example, mingon ko ang kaugalingon, just like the philosopher, mingon ang mga philosopher nga, this is my idea, the soul actually has the three sa ato pa di ay og embrace na to dito na stop ang philosophy, but Rene Descartes discourage everyone about that one. So dapat dita mo stop, because what is the key? Let's proceed with the next. Ay key di sorry, dire Rene Descartes, I think therefore I am. So the self cogito, the thinking that thinks, extension of mind and body. So the body is a machine attached to the mind. Meaning to say, class, I think, therefore I am. The body, I'm sorry, the mind who actually kanabang governs the body. The mind being the director of everything. It was coming from the mind, It was coming from the mind that allows body to do everything, because it is the mind that owns everything, especially kaning the idea. Now, kanang mind, it's the mind that makes the man. So meaning to say, if the person do not think,
May lag dia.
Sir, they give chopping, yes, sir.
Wala
Tulpat
pinadunggan,
tayo.
sir.
Wala man si sir nga ligod.
Dead guwapo.
What's up, random people?
Okay.
Yapon ta.
Sa tanang taga-Argao. Baka naman.
Happy Fiesta.
Nilin.
Adto ta ka Gerald Mir.
Recorded ra ba ni?
Kinsay banda dia pre.
Si Israel banda.
Masalingan ako yung sabak kayo.
Okay, class. Balik ko. No? It is the mind of the person that makes a person a person. Bot pasabot, your ang imong pagkatao, no, your personality or the self, no, can simply be determined by what are the contents of your mind. So if you are those type of person nga ana lang no nga dili lang ka mag-study, no, you're not going to dili mo tagaan og bili, dili ka mo hatag og time to to discover something or to investigate for something, then you will end up that kind of person. Like for example, you cannot blame the doctor nga nahimo silang doctor because they are also working on it. No, that they become a successful person because they work on it. No, instead of maglagot ang kang tao, masuya ka, why not maninguha ka, no, to be like them. We cannot blame those other people who becomes a lawyer because they work on it. So meaning to say, in application to this, I think, therefore I am, it was the mind that actually determines the wholeness of the person. Nakuha ninyo, class? Kung panalitan
Yes, sir.
ang imong mind, class, is mustap na siya og kwan, ang imong mind, no, mustap na og kana nga huna-huna o inana ra ka kutob, no? Like for example, mingon ta, no, sometimes, no, in our life, dili kalikaya, no, nga maana ta lain nagsakit aning tawhan na di man siya kasabot bisag unsaon ako siya explain. Mao ra gid na siya, inana ra gid siya, nana-wipe gani siya nako, nasuko pa siya nako, ako pa yung gitawag niya, gitawag pa ko niya bakakon, bati kaayo. You cannot blame those people because they choose to become that kind of people. If only they acquire they acquire themselves, no, a correct knowledge, no, they acquire themselves a wisdom, then that becomes something nga mahimo silang malipayon, and at the same time they become a very productive person. Now, ang pangutana ni class, do you agree with the statements about the self, body, and soul so far? So what seems to be questionable in their conjectures? So muna ang gi-emphasize ni René Descartes, class, that everybody should, you should acquire something because ang iyang gi-emphasize niya, no, ang personality sa usa ka tawo dili ma-determine tungod lang sa lawas. But ang personality sa usa ka tawo, no, what holds the personality or the self of the person is ang ilahang sulod sa utok. Okay? Nakuha ninyo, class?
Yes, sir.
Kuha, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Maayo, no? Next, we have David Hume. Okay. Kamay na lang kayo, no? I would wish, but ani na lang, no? I will just continue this one. Kanino? By next meeting. I think I have discussed a lot, no, na this could actually make you confused if I am going to pour this one to you, no, once in a meeting ra. So this would put, so muna nga siguro by next meeting lang I will continue with my discussion about this one. Okay? David Hume. Nakuha, class?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think you're also hungry already, no? It's already 7:56. So, any questions so far before I dismiss the class?
Sir,
No ra sir. Okay na sir.
naguba ang akong kuan, sir. Kanang akong meat ba dili ko